Hello everybody, I'm Tom Vasel. Welcome to Live Q&A. It is April 4th, 2017. Some people have asked why I'm streaming at such an odd time, 4:45, although it's actually 4:48. Apologies. It's had some cords I had to run around. We're still not used to everything here, but it's because I'm leaving here at 6 o'clock. I figured I need 15 minutes of takedown time after the live Q&A is over and to pack my bag because I no longer work at home, so I need to go. And so I just started at 45, so I could do an hour all the way up to 5:45. That's it. This is the first Q&A from the new location. This is we're still feeling out how the new location works. Our main studio where we do top tens and things like that. It's going to take a while to build how that is. We have it set up. We're fixing lighting and sound and that this week. You saw we did a top 10 from there, and it just didn't sound that great, right? Because you heard it bouncing off the walls and everything, but it was just kind of a test. Well, we recorded a top 10 in here today, although this room's a little more scrunched, but I'm pretty happy with how this room has come out. I like how the bookshelves are. My phone is not on me currently, so I'm not going to be taking any questions from Slack today. I apologize. I'm just going to be taking all the questions from the YouTube comments. So we'll try to maybe we'll do a live Q&A from the gathering, although probably not. I'll be up in New York next week. But if you're in Canada, in Toronto on the 14th, come say hello at Snakes and Lattes Game Cafe. So I'm going to answer some questions here, and we'll get started now. First question, how's the new studio going? Well, good. Do you have any broken token inserts? Yes. If so, which ones? Not really sure off the top of my head which games mines have inserts in or not. I usually open them and go, yeah, that's right, I have an insert. I got inserts from Broken Token, from Meeple Realty. I have inserts from Robert, inserthere.me. So there's different things. What do I think of Joe Stemmen? Well, the guy's kind of oh, it's Joe. He's a fantastic person. So I wasn't going to back Gloomhaven. I just backed it. Is it that good? What do you think is the best player count? How legacy is it? It's a lot of questions. Is it that good? Yes. What do you think is the best player count? I don't know, but I really like it with 1. How legacy is it? Not too bad. You can reset everything. How have you been affected by the YouTube ad boycott? Well, to the point I did not know it existed. I don't even know what that is. How is your family You don't need to type the word question before a question because that's what the question mark is for. How is your family adjusting to you not working from home anymore? I think fine. I mean, I'm spending more time with them when I get home because there's a more clear delineation of where work is and where home is. What new top 10s will come? Yes, the camera's crooked. I'll fix it. Hang on. I don't wish the OCD people. We've done a lot of moving around today, so. There we go. That's still a little crooked. Yeah, well, you know what? That's just going to have to work for now. Okay, anyhow. What's the new table situation? Well, that's kind of a surprise. We're working on tables as we speak. We'll see tables as time comes by. When does Melody leave for her missions? She's going to Trinidad and Tobago. She's leaving in July. She's missing Dice Tower Con again. This is the second year in a row, but this is more important than Dice Tower Con. And I have a link in my Facebook feed if anyone wants to help support her in her thing. She still needs her trip in that regard. So if you're willing to do that, you can go check that out. Do you think there will be an expansion for the Doom board game? I don't know. Dice Tower fans know very well that you love key lime pie. Do you have a second favorite pie, or would that second place pie be so far behind key lime that it is irrelevant? It all depends on what mood I'm in, but a good piece of rhubarb pie, or cherry rhubarb particularly, or strawberry rhubarb is also quite good. I like that, a good peach pie, a good chocolate mousse pie. I'm pretty pies. I mean, key lime is obviously the best, but I like pies in general. Thoughts on Rising Sun getting over 4 million on Kickstarter? That's a lot of money. When and why are you in New York again? I'm not in New York. I'm actually here in Florida. So, hang on. I got to get back, and my thing just dropped down. Anyhow, I'm here in Florida, but I'm going to New York for the Gathering of Friends. It's an invite-only convention, which is not my preferred way of doing conventions. I like to have them open, but I get to talk to a lot of designers and publishers there. So while we're there, we go over to Canada and to Toronto because I want to see the Blue Jays. They're my favorite baseball team. We make a trip. So all of us will be going there. We'll be at Snakes and Lattes again. I'll be on the 14th. Me, Sam, and Z will all be there. Let's see here. Joe, I've already answered that. How many tacos have I eaten in one sitting? That was 25. Joe was there. Let's see here. I have not tried New Angeles yet. It's just hard to get a 4-hour game to the table. Has anyone at Dice Tower played Secret Hitler? I don't think so. Maybe. Are you going to review it? We have not got a copy of it, so probably not. We really have like 500 games or so, and that doesn't, not 500, but it seems like it. Is New York Slice the best execution of a thematic box? Maybe. I don't know. That would be a hard... I really like Onitama's pretty thematic box. There's some decent thematic boxes out there. Any surprise issues with the new place? I got to find something to cut my grass, but that's not a surprise issue. There's no surprise issues yet. Not yet. The best and the worst things about it? I really like it. I really like it here. I mean, it's very comfortable. It's nice. We have enough space. I'm sure we'll outgrow it at some point, but for now, it's pretty nice. I don't know if there's any worst thing about it. I mean, it's not home. I wish we could park 200 cars here. Let's see here. Will you get rid of Splendor now that you enjoy Century so much? Maybe the upcoming expansion will change your mind. That's right. I know that expansion's coming, so I've not gotten rid of Splendor. Even though I said Century's a Splendor killer, hey, let's give Splendor a chance. I still like both of them a lot. What designer would you like to meet that you haven't yet? Well, that's an interesting question. What designer have I not met that I would like to meet? I always like to meet Paolo Mori, so I apologize for throwing Vasco da Gama off the roof, and then congratulate him on all the other great games that he has done. I really have met almost every designer that I really liked and wanted to talk to, and I think I have. I'm looking at my games here, seeing if there's a designer that I haven't met. I've never met Donald X. Vaccarino. That'd be an interesting meeting, but I'm okay, I think. Is the games to be reviewed shelf typically as filled as it was during the board game breakfast walkthrough? Seems like a lot of games for 3 of you to go through. It's just getting worse and worse. I mean, if you notice, we are really pumping out the reviews. I mean, really, more than we've ever done. Each year we do more, and the more games come in. So what's going to happen? Games are just not going to get reviewed. And so we have to make that call. Even right now, we have a ton of games on those shelves, but none of them are like super hot games. But, you know, if a hot game comes in, we'll try to get it reviewed. And then when we're not reviewing hot games, we'll do other ones. I'm looking over here on the side. I see the games I'm reviewing for next week. I'm trying to review about 14 games a week. Maybe not 14, maybe 12. But still, a lot of games each week I'm trying to review. That's a lot. Let's say I review an average of 10 games a week. That's 500 games a year. That's a good chunk of games. And Sam and Z are doing another, 200-300 games a year. We're getting close to 800 games a year. Then we have our other guys doing them. We simply can't cover everything. Is there a particular top 10 that you feel needs to be revisited most? No, not particularly. If there's a top 10 I think needs to be revisited, we revisit it. We'll be doing another updated top 10 list will be coming later this month. This week, or next week. Next week, we're going to be doing our top 10 games that we love despite the theme. And then later this month, we'll be doing top 10 expansions again. Top 10 essential expansions. We'll be redoing that one. Favorite cheese to have on a burger? Swiss. Let's see. Have you ever designed your own game? I have. It's called Nothing Personal. Where can I find pricing for Dice Tower Cruise? I believe if you go to dicetowercruise.com. Here, I'll quick pull that up and see if that works. I know there. Yeah, there it is. dicetowercruise.com. Is there a chance to see a live play for Kemet? Well, there's a chance to see live plays on anything. The live plays, if you notice, we've calmed down on those briefly, and that's because it's also in the room where we still need to put up more sound paneling in there and work on lights for that area. Once we have all that stuff up and running, you will see live plays come back. We might do some live plays in here, but this room is a little bit more scrunched right now for that. Thoughts on the announced airship expansion for Scythe? Well, it looks pretty cool. Can you expand on the First Martian stress system? Well, in First Martians, there's a certain amount of stress that's caused each turn, and other things can cause stress. And if your stress gets down, everyone punches everybody else, and you get a wound. It's not that, but I guess just stress causes everyone to get a wound. And then it resets. However, you can spend one of your workers to go and up stress by a certain number, so you can try to keep it at bay, kind of relaxing and chilling to keep stress at bay. I like it. It's not unmanageable, but it's something you do need to keep an eye on. Going to Miami April 20th to May 5th. When and where is a good game night? Well, that all depends. Go to meetup.com and look for Miami board games. You'll see when our meetups are. You can always email me and see when we're doing anything around the area. Do you play computer games? Not all the time. Like right now, for some reason, I'm playing through Final Fantasy Tactics again. I'm in Chapter 4. I'm around level 40, so I'm in the grind zone now, but I really enjoy grinding in that game for whatever reason. When will the Sheriff of Nottingham expansion hit retail? Not sure. They will announce it. It's just this year. That's all I know. Now that you are in one studio, have you set up a recording schedule for the room you are currently using? No, we're kind of keeping it fly for now. I come in early in the morning before anyone else does, and I leave later after everyone else does, so I can record around everybody else. So, I mean, we just say, hey, is anyone about to record? Or are you going to record? We do it. It's informal. If it gets too problematic, we'll make a schedule. But for right now, it's not. I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal. Like, the other guys just went home. I'm the only person here right now. So this was easy to do it. Has the Dice Tower grown in number? Yes. A lot of people here today. First time for the Dice Tower, I guess. Welcome. How many people did you start with? One. It was me. Well, okay, I'll include my wife. So there was a two. Joe was the first one then who did the audio podcast with me, and it was still Dice Tower was that, just me and Joe for a while, right? Me and Joe, then me and Sam, and then me and Eric, and then as time went by, I just started including, hey, you're doing our show notes, you're part of Dice Tower. Oh, you're a contributor. There's probably 100 people involved with the Dice Tower. How do we get an invite to the new studio? Well, you got to be in the area, and it just has to work out. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it has to work out. Just Peaches purchased Feast of Odin. Would you recommend playing with just deck A for your first play? Nah, you can play with all the decks. They're not that different. What game has caused you the most brain strain? Go. Gloomhaven second print. Thoughts? It looks fun. I may have backed it for the upgrade stuff. So we'll see. Who cleans the office? That's a joint thing. Best sauce for a salad, red wine vinegar. Why the Toronto Blue Jays? Because as a kid, I just randomly picked them, and I stuck with them. Have you released who won the contest for the 500th podcast episode? If not, any idea when? That will happen, hopefully today via Twitter. Are you going to use Indiegogo again next year? We'll know next year. Probably. Where's Cool Stuff Games? There's a Cool Stuff Games north of Miami. It's in Hollywood, which is in Fort Lauderdale. Is that TMNT game behind your head a good two-player game? You mean this one here? Yes, it is a good two-player game, but it's an okay two-player game. I should rephrase that. I really like the teamwork aspect, and twos. Yeah, I wouldn't play it with two actually. If you don't make much money out of gaming, what is your full-time job? I don't make much money out of gaming, but my full-time job is board games. How on earth do you make any money? Well, people are very generous and support us through a fundraiser that happens each year in January. When are we going to see your Gloomhaven review? Well, my Gloomhaven review, I have a review scheduled for Gloomhaven, and that is going to be, looking at my Dice Tower checklist, I have a Gloomhaven review going up on the on the 16th. That is not the Sunday after that. Now that's going to be just me. Sam and Z will probably join me for another Gloomhaven review at some point if they get to play it again. And I may even do another Gloomhaven review later on after that point. Normally we'd all be talking Magic the Gathering by now. Well, I don't know. In episode 500, you said you could tell Ticket to Ride was a hit immediately. How often does that happen? It doesn't. But there are some times when I play a game and I know it's going to be a hit. I don't know how to explain it. I just can feel it. I look at the game like I knew Dominion was going to be a hit. When I played Dominion, it was like, wow, this game is going to be huge. I remember thinking Magic the Gathering would be a hit. I didn't expect it to be a mega hit. I was just thinking, wow, people are going to really like that. What other game did I play? And I was like, this is going to be a hit. King of Tokyo, the first time I played that. Sometimes I'm surprised, though, like Hanabi. I never expected Hanabi to be that big of a deal. Some games were a hit before I played them, so I can't really count those. But there are times when I play a game and I'm like, wow, this game is just amazing. But then there are games I play that I'm like, this could be a hit. That's why they get added to Dice Tower Essentials. Like Sheriff of Nottingham, I knew that was a great game. Only time, the first time I played it, I said, yeah, this game's amazing. So, from Florida, Blue Jays are your favorite team? Well, I'm actually not from Florida. I'm from Pennsylvania. How often do you dislike a game that then becomes a hit? Probably often. Is the stream laggy? I apologize on that. I'm not sure what the deal is here. I'm on the fastest stream. I apologize. Does Clank have replayability since there are only 2 different maps without the expansion? Oh, yeah, because it has 2 different maps. I mean, you could play it with just the one map. I could play it with the same map a lot and have a lot of fun with it. Do you have a big Easter celebration? Yes, I do. Clank has low replayability? It does not. It doesn't have any less low replayability than, say, Dominion does or Ascension does. There's plenty of replayability in Clank. Will I be at Cool Stuff in Hollywood for Tabletop Day the 29th? I don't know. I'm going to assume no at this point. I like to be there, and I might try to be there. I've been invited out to Tabletop Day in California, but I don't think I can afford to fly out there. I've been... Also, my mother will likely die in a few weeks. I don't mean to be morbid here, but so I got to keep my options open of where I'm going to be at any point. Are you looking for any specific kinds of new segments on Board Game Breakfast and Throw Punch Lunch? You seem to have a lot covered already. Well, no, I usually let people kind of be creative in that regard. Do you have additional dice towers that you use versus the ones in the shelves behind you? Well, there's some to my side too here. Any news on Project Elite? I can't answer that right now, but it's not dead. What was the best April 1st Fool's joke in board gaming? I'm not a huge fan of April Fool's Day, although we've pulled a few jokes off of our own. If you go look at our top 10 obscure games, in that list, we did that 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. We talked about games that didn't actually exist. We just made stuff up. And there was 3 games on the list out of 10. And then we didn't say anything about it. I went to Board Game Geek. I got permission from Board Game Geek to add entries to the game. Got a bunch of people to make up fake comments about the games. People went in, were like, well, okay. So, but we called that one quickly. But we didn't did we release it on April Fool's Day? But the thing is, April Fool's Day for me is not super fun because I go to the internet and it's like people on Facebook. Hey, my wife's pregnant. Hey, this happened. Hey, I'm engaged. Hey, and it's like, oh, I can't believe any of it. Company announces a new game. It's like, oh, why did you announce that game today? Is it true? I don't know. And so I know a lot of people have fun with it, and I love a joke as much as the next person, but it's just April Fool's Day often becomes a useless day for me on internet-wise. Have you ever been to the Netherlands? No, but I would really like to go someday. With the Dice Tower Studios, are there segments you couldn't do before but were not possible? And what are your ideas on that? I don't really know on that. Do I like Magic the Gathering? Yes. Have your opinions mellowed on Ticket to Ride, Rails, and Sales? I don't know what you mean by that. I didn't like it to begin with. Um, have you cooled down on Gloomhaven, or are you still playing scenarios often? I've cooled down on everything because my mother was extremely sick, so I had to fly out to Nebraska for a week. And so I've got some games played with my kids. I haven't got Gloomhaven played, although I did spend a while the other day putting together an insert for it from Meeple Realty, which holds everything inside. Very nice insert. Thank you for the nice words from different people. Are you planning to cover the back of the library because of the window? The window is covered from the outside. I'm going to like put a little sign there that says it. It's covered. It's covered. Stop asking. Are you disappointed that Speechless seems to have not gone over well? I saw it on clearance this week for $15. I think the game is a fabulous family party game and love it. That's fine. It's hard to sell party games. It just really is. $15 is what a lot of people want to pay for party games, so that is what it is. Did using Indiegogo instead of Kickstarter meet your expectations? It did. Do you only play new games for your weekly game group? Possibly. Is Memoir 44 a simulation? Yes. Do you need one help to build the backdrop for the new location? Yes. If you're around in the area or willing to do that, please email me at dicetower@gmail.com. When you were at Gamma and people started chanting, yes, you said, is Daniel Bryan here? Are you a wrestling fan? Not really. I watched wrestling for a while. I am a Daniel Bryan fan. I don't know why. I just always got a kick out of the guy. He came out as a guy who would never give up, no matter his size, no matter what else, and I enjoyed that. I know it's fake, but I just really liked the guy, and I thought his cheer about no and yes was hilarious. I'm on and off with wrestling. It's like a guilty pleasure to some degree, but I don't watch it religiously. I go, like, for example, I went and read some blogs on WrestleMania that just happened because I was interested in it, but I didn't watch WrestleMania. So I'm kind of like a wrestling fan wannabe. Are all the decor pieces on the shelf Dice Towers? No. Some of them are, but not all of them. I don't know about any game conventions in the New York area. Are you excited about the escape room trend? Yes, Cosmos Exit is my current favorite. I've not played that one yet, but I opened it up and looked at it. Is Gloomhaven worth $100? Yes, for sure. I'm surprised you're selling it that cheap. Do you think box escape rooms games have legs? Probably. I think so. I have not played 878 Vikings. I don't review games before Kickstarter's over. I don't have it anyway. I'm concerned First Martians look too much like an Excel spreadsheet. Maybe too much like work. I don't know. I had fun doing it. I didn't think it looked like an Excel spreadsheet. What do you like in your pizza? Chicken, pineapples, banana peppers, onions, mushrooms, red onions, and peppers, and cherry peppers, and shrimp. It doesn't have to be all that stuff at one time. Love shrimp on pizza. Of course, I love shrimp on anything. Um, I see a lot of people are really complaining about the speed and everything, and I really don't know what is the problem with the streaming right now. But because there's no one else here, and because I just don't know what the deal is with that. I apologize. I'll make sure I have everything else shut down on my computer here, and make sure that they're all closed. We'll close that. We'll close that. And we'll close. There we go. Hopefully that helps a little. Sorry. Anyway, I live near Philly, and I'm thinking about PAX Unplugged. What are the benefits of a convention? $50 to $75 is a lot. I honestly, I gotta be careful how I phrase this because I never want to talk about money in a way that looks down on what other people have. I don't think $50 to $75 is a lot for a convention where you could go to for 3 full days and be there and game all day long. I mean, if let's say you're there for 8 hours a day, that's 24 hours that you're there for 3 days in a row, and you pay $75. You've paid $3 an hour. That's really a good deal, in my opinion. You get to play games, you get to hang out with other people. It's cheaper than the movies. You'll have great experiences. It's just a lot of fun. How good is the internet in headquarters compared to your home? It's just as good, although I am not plugged into it directly here. We're going to run a line in here at some point. That just hasn't happened yet, so I'm using Airport at this point in time. Although I always suspect when the internet, sometimes when it's laggy here and runs like this, it's not me, it's YouTube itself. Some folks here are asking like what I think about a specific game. Always check to see if I've done a review on it because I'm very clear in the review whether I like the game or not. What would you want to see in a 7th expansion for Cosmic Encounter if we get one? Do not care at all on that. Is there going to be a game day the day before the cruise this year, or don't know yet? There is definitely going to be a game day. We are already working on how that's going to work now. Is Tabletop Day better for gaming in general or Geek and Sundry? It's better for Geek and Sundry. But we'll see. Maybe it's better for gaming in general. The new folks running Geek and Sundry, I really like what they're doing. I think they're doing a great job. Was it a tough decision to let go of the podcast contributors? Oh yeah, I'm not one. I wasn't just like, hey, let's fire everybody. But I said, you know what? We need to do something different. And honestly, when I looked at the feedback, it was overwhelmingly to the point where people said, less contributors, more of you guys. We'd love to hear visiting guest hosts. I was like, oh, perfect. That's an easy thing to do, although the visiting guest host certainly is more work than you might think. But I'm really excited about the guest hosts. I'm not announcing them much at all. We'll just say, hey, the new one is up, and here's the person who it is. I already have the first 4 confirmed. We're recording the first one tomorrow. Some of them are people that you know from the Dice Tower. Some of them might be people outside the Dice Tower. We're going to have just different folks on. Some of them you won't know at all, but I think you should get to know them. I am hand-picking everybody. I'm looking for people who are interesting and fun, and it might not always work out, but sometimes it will, and we'll see where things go from there. But I'm pretty pumped about the whole thing. I'm not pumped to see people go, but you know what? Some of those people are going to go off and start their own podcast or get involved in other podcasts. And so we'll see how things work. Obviously not Bonico. Yeah, that was an easy choice to drop him. What are your storage solutions for Dice Masters Dice? I'm not very happy with any of the storage solutions. So what I'm doing right now, and this is taking a while, is I'm putting all the characters, cards, and dice for each character in a bag. So let's say Batman. So there's like 3 different versions of Batman. I put them all in a bag and all the Batman dice in that bag. And then I'm throwing all these bags in a big container. When I want to play, we'll just pull out 30 bags and play with those bags. That's what we're going to do. Tom, the window covering is not about the protection. It's about how annoyingly it looks behind the shelf. I think we can all live with that. How did you cover the window in a way that wouldn't trap water on the sill? I think because we live in Florida, that's just how the window coverings work. Whatever happened with Civ 6, I played it for a while and I paused. When I play a game, I'll play it and then I'll pause and not play it for a while. For Civ 6, I'll probably just wait for the next expansion and I'll play it again. Any Dice Tower representation at UK Games Expo? Me, Sam, and Z will be there in full force. We're doing a top 10 list. Well, a top list anyway. It might not be 10. We're doing a live Q&A, and we're doing something else. There's 3 things we're doing there. Sam and Z are both going to be in one of the live pandemic games. I apologize. The questions just shot to the bottom here. Any more plans on... Oh, hang on. There we go. Eventually, Gamma is moving to Reno next year. Do you think that will change your MeepleCon plans? I don't know. We still plan to go to MeepleCon, even though Gamma's in Reno. MeepleCon has talked extensively about this, and so we'd love to still keep going there. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, any plans on any more Gloomhaven streaming? Probably. Like I said, streaming is slightly on hold now while we get everything into place to do it. What game currently offends me the most? I don't think most games offend me. Maybe Phase 10? Offends me that it exists. Will I be doing a Dice Tower cooking show in the new kitchen? Probably not. Are Vikings and Pirates technically the same, just with different hats? Possibly. Do you have a favorite action movie? Yes, I do. Have you tried Rune Wars miniatures yet? I have not. If I send you a new hat, will you wear it? Possibly. Why the gorillas? Are the gorillas also Dice Towers? No, I just like gorillas. As an expert in real words in the real English language, can you give a definition of hootenanny? Sure. Hootenanny means super fun time. Played Epic Thunderstone for the first time. It was great. I have every card. You use one of each card or everything? No, I believe I used 4 of each card. That sounds right. I believe I only used 4 of each card. Of the heroes, I have my heroes split up. I have the heroes in fighters, wizards, etc. in the different categories. So it would be 4 in each category. No, it's 3 in each category. But if they're in 2 different categories, let's say they're a fighter or thief, I would put 2 in the fighter pile and 2 in the thief pile. If you could pick a game to be reskinned with the X-Men theme, which game would you pick? Off the top of my head, none. I prefer the X-Men game to be its own game. Sorry if you've covered this, but how far away from your home is the studio? 5 minutes or so. And what time do you get there to start your day? It all depends on what day it is. Today I got here at 7:30. What is your honest opinion on Kickstarters as opposed to my dishonest opinion on them? Well, some Kickstarters are great and some are awful. It all depends on the Kickstarter. Once again, people keep asking about Kickstarter reviews. The Dice Tower's policy currently, it could change. Dice Tower's policy is we do not do Kickstarter previews while the Kickstarter campaign is going on, really. I mean, sometimes things work out weird. Like, for example, Gloomhaven has a reprint up. Well, we already did a review or a preview on Gloomhaven. I'm doing a review of Gloomhaven. That's different. But for the most part, we don't do a review of any game on Kickstarter because otherwise that's all we do. You can look at Board Game Breakfast to see how many games we got to review. Those are published games. If I had unpublished to the list, we'd never get anything done. Again, I know people keep asking about the streaming. We're going to get back to streaming. Again, The reason we haven't done any streaming, you haven't seen Q&As or anything, is just because we are still setting up here. It's going to be a slow process. I'm trying to get as much stuff done as possible. You saw we put up a pile of videos today. We have a pile of videos planned all this week and next week, but the streaming stuff is the stuff that's getting cut because we're still just working on getting everything together. Would you consider Perplexus to be a solo game? Sure. When you know you're going to play a game 2 hours or more, do you order out? Well, if it crosses a meal time, I guess, it's possible to play a 2-hour game in between meals. Okay, so I don't think that's what you're asking. If we order out, what do we get? Chinese pizza, burgers, others. Well, I'm trying to eat much healthier than that these days. So I would order chop chop, chicken chop chop, which is chicken, lettuce, cheese, tomatoes. It's really, really delicious. Is it possible to have a top 10 board game superstitions list? Well, that's an interesting idea, because I've certainly met people with board game superstitions. Always got to play the same color, set the dice down a certain way. I mean, some of these cross over into RPG superstitions. That's interesting. I like that idea. I don't know if I could get 10 of them, though. I never played the Wildstorms TCG. Do you handpick which games are on display behind you in frame? What's its significance? I like them. And actually, I set the games in this whole room up so that I can move it. I might be over here next time doing the game things. If you look in the different reviews and top 10s I do, you'll notice different games in the background because I would like to move around while we do these. Have you ever thought about starting your own Dice Tower online store? Well, I don't need an online store, really. I mean, we have people who support us through our fundraiser. Sometimes we put up some of our extra promos on cool stuff, so you can get them there. And you can buy t-shirts and stuff. That's not really backing the Dice Tower as much as it is you're just getting a t-shirt for the Dice Tower through our website. What day is the live show at Gen Con? It is Friday at 2 o'clock. Do you use the advanced side of Stockpile? Yes, character powers, usually. Are you a fan of the Marvel Netflix shows? Not that much. I'm not a huge fan of the Marvel Netflix shows. I don't know why. They're just very dark and gritty, and I like Marvel Universe a little bit lighter. Let's see here. Is the collection limit still 300 in New Place? I don't know. It's whatever fits into these shelves. Is there such a thing as a stupid question? Yeah, I've always believed that. I was always surprised when I was taught, there's no such thing as a stupid question. I've taught. There's definitely stupid questions. A stupid question is when you say, you guys need to study this, and someone says, will this be on the test? That's a stupid question, especially when you made it really clear what will be on a test or not. Or when someone asks a question deliberately designed to cause problems, that's a stupid question. I've always thought that there are stupid questions, or are good questions, although I always find it funny when you see an interviewer talking to somebody and they ask him a question in an interview, he goes, that's a good question. And I think, were the other ones not good questions? Your opinion on companies showing empty boxes at Gamma? Well, I don't see why that's a problem. I guess sometimes I'm confused as to when people get upset over that, like, oh, they were showing empty boxes. Did you want them to bring in nothing? They brought in a prototype empty box to show people, to say, hey, this is what the game is going to look like. This is, of course, there's nothing in here yet, but it's coming. Why should they not bring anything? That's crazy. This is why companies don't release information about board games, because people get all pumped up about it. They're like, well, you didn't tell us everything. So what do companies do? They say, okay, well, guess what? You're going to learn nothing. We'll tell you when we have it. That's why almost no company tells you when games are coming out anymore. Because if they miss it by a couple days, people get really upset. People get really upset over things that don't matter. Getting upset that publishers had empty boxes at Gamma is mind-boggling to me. Who cares? You weren't there. You weren't buying them. They weren't even selling games there. They were just showing and talking about this is what's coming out. Having a box size there is really useful to retail stores because they can say, oh, that's what the box will look like on my shelf. It's really an important deal to tell them that they shouldn't do it. That was really surprising that that was even a thing. Did I check the quality on the internet here? Oh, of course I did. Do you have a list of serious games that you recommend someone to look at if they were designing their own serious game? I I don't know what that means. Most games are serious, I would imagine, or they're fun. I'm not sure what you mean by serious. ASL or Combat Commander? Combat Commander. What do you recommend for table covering when using folding tables to play board games? I don't know. I usually tend to have no table covering because the tablecloths can slide. Those nice neoprene mats, if you have some of those work really well. Thanks for the studio review from a couple days ago. Do you have any plans to do more detailed reviews of devices and techniques you're using? It'd be great to learn from the best. That's possible. We'll see as time goes by. Let's see here. What's the best way to play St. Petersburg? I think playing the basic way or adding in the market. That's the first thing. That's fine. I don't think you need any of the modules. You can skip all the modules and you'll be fine. I really like it by itself, actually. What do you think of CMON's announcement of new Zombicide Black Plague Green Horde? I like that name, Black Plague Green Horde. I think it's going to do super well. I like Black Plague a lot for Zombicide. Adding the goblins and orcs to it seems interesting. Orc zombies seems like fun, so I think that'd be fun. What's a good clue killer? Mystery of the Abbey is. That's a great game. That's the one I would pick for the clue killer. It's not in print right now, but you might be able to find a copy of it. Top 10 games with deck building mechanisms. Well, that's great. I think you should listen to our podcast. It'll be posted on Tuesday because that's the top 10 for it. I'm glad you like that. How about a top 10 Saturday morning cartoon list? I don't think they do Saturday morning cartoons anymore, do they? As far as opinions on games, you tend to agree with Sam or Z mostly. I couldn't even answer that. I really feel like it's 50% sometimes. Because I usually, like with Z, I'll be like, oh, this game's great. And Sam's like, wow. What are you talking about? Or Sam, I'm like, this game's super fun. And Z's like, Like, what? You're crazy. So I don't know who I agree with more. In retrospect, what is the biggest lesson you learned from Nothing Personal? When you sign a contract with a publisher or anyone, make sure you read everything in it, run through every possibility of where that may lead. But at the same time, don't be so tied to your design that if you no longer have control over it, you'll get too upset. That's a lesson I learned. Will you be doing more fun non-gaming top 10 lists with the studio set up? Oh, possibly. We might do some. Sleuth is a great game. I just don't call it a clue killer because I don't know that Sleuth would... it's really complex and involved, and I don't know that new people would jump into that very well. Do you know the reason for PAX Unplugged to be the same weekend as BGGCon? Well, just they told me that was the weekend that they had free. They didn't mean to cross BGGCon, but there's nothing you can do about it. It doesn't really seem to affect BGGCon. They sold out, so I think we're fine. A lot of people keep asking me about Rising Sun. I said it's a pretty cool Kickstarter looking thing anyway. I haven't played the game, so I don't know. How deep of a war game are you willing to play? I don't know. I have to read the rules. But I'm pretty happy with light war games these days. like 1812 and 1775. I love those. They're just super light, but I like them. Will Gloomhaven reach #1 on BGG rankings by the end of the year? That seems like a possibility, actually. Mysterium is the best clue killer. Mysterium and Clue really don't have a lot. I mean, you're giving clues in Mysterium, but it's a not deductive game, really. How many games did it take to get you to open the 5th box in Seafall? I don't know, but I really pushed towards it, right? Like, I was like, I'm going to figure out how to get this box open. And that's all I pushed towards, because I always want to see new content in games. But it wasn't that many. What TCG do you think was the closest to being a Magic the Gathering killer? I don't think any card game has ever been close to becoming a Magic the Gathering killer. You need to clarify. Do you mean for me personally, it killed Magic the Gathering? Because there's a few that I like better than Magic the Gathering. Not many, though. But I wouldn't say that any of them are a killer. I don't think any game has come out that has seriously challenged Magic the Gathering. I mean, what do we got? Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon. I don't think they really challenge Magic. I've never seen anything come close to challenging Magic. Let's see. Insider is great. Thanks for the recommend. Well, I'm glad. I really like it too. Is there a color you and Sam always play? Sam is always green. I am an I don't care person. But if I have my choice, I will always take purple, then white, then black, then orange. After that, don't care. I'm excited visiting UK Games Expo again. I very much am. Do you see Gloomhaven's new Kickstarter's new special solo adventures? Yeah, I kickstarted the extra stuff for Gloomhaven. Could Seafall be fixed with the 2nd edition? I don't think so. Can you name an archaeological theme game you like? Yeah, Archaeology the card game is a really fun one. Also, I really like Thebes. Thebes is a game with an archaeological theme. What's still missing from Fantasy Flight's Cosmic Encounter that was in the older version and worth adding in future expansions? Nothing! I mean, they don't need to bring back moons, although they tried to almost with satellites. They definitely don't need to bring back Lucre because it's just too fiddly. I'm very content with everything that they've left out, honestly. Wow, I caught up to the questions? This is amazing. It's never happened before. Caught up to questions. Guess there's not so many people watching. Oh, now there's a bunch of questions coming. All right, let's see. If I solo play Gloomhaven to level myself up, can I use that character in games with others who are at lower levels? Yes, you can. What are the types of shelves you use to hold your going to be reviewed section? I don't know. I went to Lowe's and grabbed them, or Home Depot, one of those two. I just went and grabbed some basic shelves. Do you think there are too many Dixit expansions? I do not. What fantasy board game for beginners would you recommend? I don't know what you mean by it doesn't matter. There's a lot of fantasy games out there. It could be anything as fantasy. You're just going to have to find a game that you think they would like. Go to the forget the theme. Look at the person and say, what kind of game would that person like? What do you think will be the most important fair in 2017? Do you mean board game things? Dice Tower Con? Probably PAX Unplugged, because it's just interesting to see how that convention is going to affect the industry as a whole. So I guess that's the most important. Like, which one's the most important to go to? There's a lot of important ones to go. Just picked up Ascension. Love it. What are some of your favorite expansions? 10 and 8, maybe? I forget the numbers on them. The one that added the Dream currency. I am reviewing the newest one, Expansion 11, this week, so you can see that. How is my mom? The doctor's given her 2 to 3 weeks. So, not well, honestly. Oh, well, I've caught up on questions. I will wait to see some more. Have I played One Deck Dungeon? I have not. Did you enjoy New Dawn? I did. These are easy questions, guys. Are you interested in the This War of Mine board game? I've actually never played This War of Mine, the video game, so I don't know. People like asking about Rising Sun. I'm going to wear a shirt that says, Rising Sun, haven't played yet. Of course I'm interested. It's Cool Mini or Not, Eric Lang. But I'm not thinking about it much because it's not going to come out for a while. I've not yet played Zolkin a second time. Just got here late. Sorry. Are you aware that the audio is extremely choppy and not near as good as the quality was at your place? Or it's just like that today. It has nothing to do with where I'm at now. The internet here is rocking. Sometimes it's just YouTube, the time of day. Sometimes things just don't run as smoothly as I like them to run. And there's not a lot I can do about that except soldier through or quit. And I prefer not to quit. We're only 5 minutes away from ending anyway. I apologize. It's not good. But we will do our best to make it better in the future. My favorite new designer? I don't know if I have a favorite new designer at any point in time. I usually don't have a favorite designer until I've done many of their games. One game does not a favorite designer make, I think. I apologize on that. Serious games, so this is a way back question thing, is a term for games whose main purpose isn't for fun. Games for educating or health. But I was wondering, oh, let me finish the thing. I'm sorry, that does not compute my brain. A serious game is a not fun game for me. Anyway, but I was wondering if you've ever run across any game that does that and is fun. Oh, yeah, there's tons of games here that are serious games, I guess, that teach a serious thing and are fun. Freedom the Underground Railroad, which talks about the slaves in the Civil War, about helping them to get free. That's a very serious game. There's plenty of games all over here. I really don't have time to go over all of them. There's just tons and tons of them. Jump into the hobby. Go to BoardGameGeek.com. Ask your questionnaire. You'll get lots of answers. There's so many games out that teach wonderful, terrific things and yet are still amazingly fun. If a game teaches a serious thing and it's not fun, it needs to be thrown into the garbage and burned. Because if you can't make something fun, then it's not a game. I understand not every subject is fun, okay? I don't know that I want to play a fun game about the Holocaust. I don't want to play a fun game about some very deep and serious subject. But then I don't want to play a game about them at all. I can learn about those things, but if I can make history fun, if I can make science fun, if I can make English fun, if I can make math fun, if I don't make those things fun, that is criminally negligent. Hyperbole, of course. But really, you gotta make games fun. If you don't go into a game thinking this game is fun, then you take that game, you put it into a trash compactor, you smash it up, pour lighter fluid on it, light it on fire, then go to the store, the fun store, and buy a container of fun and start with the fun and make the game from there. Gaming has been ruined for many people because they played these serious educational games that weren't fun, and they said, that's what games are like, I don't want to be part of it. That's not what games are like. I have so many games here that are full of history. Every game from Academy games, from GMT games, in the back of the book has so much stuff I learned from playing Twilight Struggle, and yet at the same time, it was an entertaining, fun game. Games have got to be fun. My rant for the day. All right. Let's see here. I fell behind far on the questions during that rant. All right, just a few more questions, then I got to shut down. Do you like seafood? Yes, I like seafood. I love seafood. What's your favorite ancient style of helmet? The Greek one that Pericles, that kind of helmet. I don't know what that one's called, but I like the Greek hoplite helmet. Maybe is that the one I'm thinking of? The top 10 board games possibly good for nationally broadcasted tournaments with audience and cash prizes. I don't think so. Is there even ever a rule move game that I liked? Oh, yes, there is. Have you done a live play of Mystery of the Abbey? No, that wouldn't be a bad one. I don't know if I actually have Mystery of the Abbey at this point in time, though, to do that with. What's your opinion on Dark Souls, the board game? It hasn't shown up yet. I do know they're sending me a copy, but I haven't played it yet. We opened all 5 boxes by Seafall Game 6. The 2 major problems those boxes threw at us were fun challenges. We're still loving the game. I wonder if it's because we rarely attack each other. We rarely attacked each other also, and we really disliked the game. We thought that the boxes, the last box was a very, very unfun box. But I'm not going to go into more detail than that. But if you're having a great time, that is fantastic. I'm really glad. I really don't want other people to dislike the same games I do. If everyone loved the game and I didn't like it, well, I might wonder what was wrong with me. But that's great that everyone else is having fun. With your connections to use as guests, have you thought about doing a show similar to Tabletop? Well, I think I would need connections and money. I don't really know Hollywood people. I think I know a total of 2. And then I won't be able to fly them in or anything or pay them money for being here and so on. You know, it is what it is. Bringing anyone else into the tip of Florida would be difficult to do. So, how do we support brick and mortar game stores with so many online stores? The brick and mortar store needs to make you want to buy from them. Are local stores a thing of the past? No, but they need to morph and change. What have you decided to do with all the extra room at your house? I haven't decided to do anything. The kids have taken it over. You love superheroes. How come you haven't played HeroClix? I have played HeroClix. I haven't played the second edition of it. Well, yeah, I haven't played the second edition of it. Is there a one-day ticket for Dice Tower Con? No. When you buy a one-day ticket, you're taking away from people who would buy 5-day tickets. Because if we sell out and one person wants to come for 5 days and you took that one day, they can't come for those 5 days. I watched all your Gamma videos, and I'm not impressed with the upcoming games. What's your opinion? I am impressed with the upcoming games. Did you receive the buy drinks and veggie chips? Ah, that is what makes sense. Okay, first of all, thank you. But my confusion was I ordered buy drinks and veggie chips myself. So when they came, I said, this seems really weird that I got extra this month because I get them on a monthly subscription from Amazon. So thank you. I appreciate that. But I didn't actually realize that's what it was when those came in. So thank you. Oh, I'm not giving out any information on who or who is not going to be guest host of the podcast, mostly because in case someone backs out. But I think you might be surprised at some of the people that are going to be on the podcast, and maybe not surprised at others. You probably won't be surprised at others. It will be interesting. I haven't even recorded it yet. 24 hours from now or so, I'll be recording the first one or first 2, I guess. 501 will be the longer one. 502 will be the smaller one in between, and then. So I have the next 4 hosts already set up. The 5th host, we'll see. But the 5th host, actually, those shows are being recorded close to UK Gaming Expo and Origins, so we may actually record them live at those shows. I haven't decided yet. All right. Sorry about that. Apologize for ranting about fun and games, but that means I'm so adamant that games need to be fun. All right. Well, I'm sad to go. I'll tell you why I'm sad to go. Because now I'm going to a meeting. Meetings are never fun. And then tomorrow when I wake up, I'm going to do my taxes. And taxes are never fun. But then I'm back to games. Yeah! And games are fun. So there's that. Tomorrow for our one at church, I'm running a pitch card tournament. That will be a lot of fun. So I'm excited about that. All right, guys. I appreciate that. I can't believe I caught all the questions, or all the ones I wanted to answer. If I didn't answer your question, I apologize. I don't answer every question. I just answer ones that look interesting to talk about. All right. Well, you all have a fantastic day. You all have a wonderful time. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. Sorry again about that G- And so then, yeah, that what's wrong? Stupid. Next time, wrong with this.